Welcome to the deep dive. You know, Today we're looking at AI and how it's changing the game for nonprofits in 2025.
It really is incredible, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We're diving deep into this article called Autopilot Your Fundraising. It
Mm.
talks about how AI is helping these organizations, boost donations and build stronger relationships with their donors.
Yeah, and it's not just some futuristic idea, it's happening now. In 2025, AI is a real tool for nonprofits, and it goes way beyond just automating those simple tasks. We're talking about understanding donors like never before.
Okay, so let's break it down. Like, how is AI actually being used in fundraising right now? A lot of nonprofits I know are swamped with just like tons of administrative work. Can AI help with that?
Absolutely. I mean, think about all those tasks that are, super important but eat up so much time. Like processing payments, AI can handle that, seamlessly. It's like magic. It can even flag any potential fraud and make sure all that sensitive donor data is kept safe.
So it's kind of like having what, a 247 virtual assistant, making sure all your fundraising operations are running smoothly.
Exactly. It's a game changer, especially for smaller nonprofits, the ones with limited staff.
The article mentions something else, though, that it talks about AI being able to identify potential major donors.
Yeah.
How does AI do that?
This is where things get really exciting. AI can analyze huge amounts of data like you wouldn't believe. It looks at past donations, demographics, online engagement, even social media activity.
Wow.
And it uses all that to find the people who are not only likely to donate, but who also have the potential to give, really significant amounts. And it's not guesswork. It's about uncovering patterns and potential that, honestly, us humans might totally miss.
So like AI is a detective, uncovering clues to find those individuals who could become like major supporters.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes even further. AI can predict how donors will behave. Some tools use something called predictive analytics to spot donors who might be thinking about ending their support, those who haven't donated
I
recently.
mean, so AI can tell you who's about to stop donating. That's amazing. How does that even work?
It's all about patterns. AI looks at past behavior, how often they donate, how they engage with emails, all sorts of stuff. It basically creates a risk profile. This lets nonprofits reach out to those people personally before they slip away.
That's incredible. It seems like AI is making fundraising, less about guessing. But the article also mentioned something called revenue optimization. What exactly is that?
This is how AI can seriously boost a nonprofit's revenue, but in a way that's, you know, not pushy at all. Picture this. AI looks at a donor's giving history, their income, and their engagement with the organization. Then it suggests the ideal donation amount for that person.
So it's like AI is suggesting a donation that they'd feel good about giving.
Yeah, precisely. It's about finding a good fit, not about pressuring them. And research shows this actually works. It can boost revenue by 10, even 15%.
Wow. I'm really starting to see how AI isn't just saving time and money. It's actually like improving the donor experience.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the article mentioned something called the AI fundraising coach. What's that all about?
This is a great example of how AI and human interaction can really, work together. The AI fundraising coach uses these special chatbots. They gather feedback from donors.
Oh, I see.
But these aren't your, average customer service bots. These are powered by AI. They can understand, like, the nuances of human language, analyze sentiment, identify recurring themes in the feedback.
So they're gathering what valuable information from the donors about their experience with the organization?
Yes. And here's the best part. The AI fundraising coach takes all that feedback and suggests personalized re-engagement strategies to the nonprofit staff. Like, let's say donors keep saying they're frustrated with the donation process. The AI might suggest the organization could, streamline those online forms or offer more ways to pay.
Oh, that's smart. So it's like having an AI assistant that's always, collecting insights and suggesting ways to improve the donor experience.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing. And we're just getting started. The article also dives into AI's impact on child sponsorship programs.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering about that. Those programs rely so much on donor engagement. How is AI helping with that?
So child sponsorship programs often involve a lot of manual processes. It can be quite, complex and time-consuming, matching donors with children, sending personalized updates, tracking donations. AI is being used to, streamline all those processes so staff can actually focus on building relationships with the sponsors.
So AI takes care of the background work, allowing staff to focus on the human side of things?
Exactly. For example, AI can automate the entire process of matching donors with children. It's pretty incredible. It looks at their interests, preferences, giving capacity, all of it. And it can generate personalized updates, with photos and stories and send them to sponsors automatically.
That's so cool. It keeps sponsors informed and connected to the child they're supporting, but it doesn't require like constant work from the staff.
Exactly. Plus, AI can help nonprofits figure out which types of updates are most effective at keeping sponsors engaged. By analyzing things like open rates, click-through rates, AI can pinpoint which stories and messages really resonate with each sponsor. It allows for more targeted, more impactful communication.
So it's not just automating, it's like AI is actually, figuring out what works best and tailoring the communication. This is all like really impressive. But I'm sure some of our listeners are thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but where do I even begin?
That's a great question. And the good news is you don't have to be, a tech whiz to start incorporating AI into your fundraising. There are tons of user-friendly tools and platforms that can help you get started.
The article talks about a few specific tools. Can we maybe dive into those a bit?
Sure, one platform that's making a big splash in the nonprofit world is Fundraise Up. It uses AI to streamline donation processing, optimize donation forms, and really personalize the donor experience.
What makes Fundraise Up different from other platforms?
One thing is its AI-powered donation forms. It uses machine learning algorithms to analyze donor behavior and pinpoint the factors that lead to higher conversion rates.
Yep.
For example, it might A/B test different form layouts, button colors, suggested donation amounts, see which variations do the best.
So it's like constantly learning and improving based on, real-time data.
Yeah, exactly. The results speak for themselves. The article says Fundraise Up has helped some nonprofits increase their donor conversion rates by like 30%. That's a massive improvement.
That is huge. And the article also mentions ChatGPT. I've heard about that one. How are nonprofits using it for fundraising?
Oh, ChatGPT is so versatile. Nonprofits are using it to create, really tailored donor communications, emails, social media posts, you name it. It can generate compelling content that really speaks to different donor segments, even personalized messages.
Wow. So it's like having a content machine that just, knows what your audience wants to hear.
Exactly. And it can even help you come up with fundraising campaign ideas, write grant proposals, create engaging social media content. It's like having a creative partner always there to help you reach more donors.
This is all so fascinating. But let's get down to brass tacks. What are some simple steps that nonprofits can take to actually, start using AI? It seems like a big change for some.
It can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. A great first step is to, look for tools that handle those essential but time-consuming tasks we talked about earlier, like payment processing, data collection, automated tax receipts.
That makes a lot of sense. Freeing up the staff to build relationships with donors. What else?
Use AI-powered segmentation to personalize your outreach to donors. It means sending the right message to the right person at the right time,
Okay.
Based on their interests, how much they've given before, their engagement level.
Personalization is key. What else should we be thinking about?
Let AI analyze donor behavior to figure out the best times to reach out to them. You want to make sure your messages are actually seen.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's all about timing. But how do you know if the AI is actually, making a difference?
That's where tracking key metrics comes in. You've got to keep an eye on things like response rates, processing time, donor retention, and how your campaigns are performing.
This is not just about using AI. You have to measure its impact, make adjustments as you go.
Exactly. It's a learning process.
Okay, let's talk about the future. What's coming up for AI in fundraising?
Oh, there's so much more to come. AI chatbots are getting really, really advanced, moving way beyond basic responses to like real personalized interactions.
So they could actually, have a conversation with a donor.
It's getting closer and closer every day. Then you've got voice-enabled assistants offering, hands-free donation options. Makes it easier than ever for people to support causes they love.
That's awesome. And it makes giving more accessible, too. What else is in the pipeline?
Oh, there's this cool thing, advanced data visualization. It's helping nonprofits map donor journeys in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Getting insights to refine their strategies.
That sounds powerful. It must be important to have a solid strategy in place when it comes to all this new technology.
Oh, absolutely. Strategic implementation, staff training, and strong data management practices are all crucial.
So it's not just about buying the tools, it's about using them wisely.
Yes. AI should enhance, not replace, the human connection in fundraising.
I love that. AI can take care of those, repetitive tasks.
Yeah,
But it's humans who really build relationships.
couldn't agree more. It's like this. AI might send that initial welcome message, but a human can follow up with, like, a personalized phone call. AI handles those scheduled updates, but a human reaches out to key donors directly.
It's all about, like, that synergy. AI and humans working together for the best outcome.
Exactly. AI handles the logistics, and human fundraisers can focus on what they do best, connecting with donors, on a deeper level.
We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? From the basics of using AI in fundraising to some of those really exciting trends on the horizon. But before we wrap up part one of this deep dive, I want to come back to something we touched on earlier, balancing AI with that human connection.
It's so important, isn't it? It's the heart of effective fundraising. AI analyzes data, sends messages, even predicts behavior, but it's human empathy, creativity, and passion that truly inspire people to give.
Absolutely. We'll be back with part two of this deep dive where we'll explore even more, practical uses of AI in fundraising. See you then.
Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and nonprofit fundraising.
Last time we really got into how AI is changing the game for fundraising, from taking over those tedious tasks to making the donor experience so much more personal. But I'm curious about something like, what happens when you take this cutting-edge technology and apply it to something as, human-centered as giving? Are there challenges?
That's a really important question. Look, when we're talking about AI and fundraising, it's about balance, right? AI has huge potential to make fundraising, more efficient, more effective, but we need to use it ethically, responsibly.
What kind of pitfalls should nonprofits be aware of?
One of the biggest worries is bias. We've got to remember that AI algorithms learn from data. And if that data reflects existing biases, well, the AI might just keep repeating those biases.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine a nonprofit using AI to find, those potential major donors. Now, if the data the AI learned from is mostly from, let's say, one specific demographic, the AI might miss potential donors from other groups. It creates a strategy that could unintentionally exclude certain communities.
That's a really good point. So nonprofits need to be super careful about the data they use to train those AI models, right? Make sure it represents everyone they serve. What else is important for responsible AI?
Transparency. Nonprofits need to be open about how they're using AI, what data they're collecting. It builds trust. Donors need to feel confident that their information is being handled ethically and responsibly.
Makes sense. Transparency equals trust. And trust is like the foundation of any strong donor relationship. The article mentions data security too. How does that play into things?
It's huge. Data security is absolutely critical when we're talking about AI, especially since AI is often analyzing, massive amounts of sensitive information about donors. Nonprofits need to have, really solid security measures to prevent breaches, unauthorized access.
So it's not just about using AI well, it's about using it ethically and protecting that donor data every step of the way. Are there best practices, guidelines to help nonprofits do all of this?
Absolutely. There are some really great organizations and, industry leaders who've put together ethical frameworks and guidelines for AI in the nonprofit world. These frameworks focus on things like transparency, fairness, accountability, and human oversight.
So there's like a movement toward establishing these best practices.
Definitely. And it's an evolving conversation, too. As AI technology keeps advancing, we need to keep revisiting those ethical guidelines and, making sure they're keeping up.
That makes a lot of sense. We have to stay ahead of the curve and make sure we're using AI in a way
Yeah.
that matches, our values and our mission.
Exactly. It's not just about what we can do with AI. It's about what we should do.
So we've covered the potential downsides and the ethics of using AI. Are there any nonprofits out there who are using AI effectively and doing it responsibly?
Oh, tons. There are so many inspiring examples. One that comes to mind is charity, water.
Charity, water. Yeah, they do amazing work, bringing clean water to people all over the world.
They do. And they're using AI in really innovative ways to support their fundraising. They're using AI tools to personalize communications, segment their audiences, and even predict which donors are most likely to become, those reliable monthly givers.
So they've created a more personalized and targeted approach.
Exactly. And it's working. They've seen a huge increase in donor retention and a big jump in their overall revenue.
That's amazing. It's a perfect example of how AI can make fundraising more efficient and build those lasting relationships with donors. Any other examples come to mind?
Oh, for sure. The American Red Cross is doing some really impressive work with AI.
The Red Cross, I know they're, famous for their disaster relief work. How are they using AI in that context?
They've developed this AI-powered system. It analyzes social media, news reports, even weather patterns, all in real time, to pinpoint potential disaster zones, like as they're happening.
Wow, so they can get a head start.
Yes, it lets them quickly mobilize resources and send aid workers exactly where they're needed.
So they're using AI to, predict where disasters might hit. That's incredible.
It is, and it's making a huge difference, in those situations where time is critical. By responding faster and smarter, they can save more lives and lessen the impact on those communities.
It's so powerful. They're using AI to, literally save lives. Is the Red Cross using AI for anything else?
Yes. They're also optimizing their blood donation drives with AI. Their system analyzes past data to predict donation patterns and identify potential shortages, before they happen.
So they're ensuring a consistent blood supply. It's amazing to see AI being used for, such crucial things.
It is. These are just a couple of examples, but they really show how AI can, completely transform how nonprofits work and help them reach their goals.
Such inspiring stories. Are there any specific AI tools or platforms that you'd suggest, for nonprofits that are just, dipping their toes into AI?
Oh, there are so many great options out there. The best one for, any particular organization will depend on their specific needs. But I always say start with tools that can handle those basic tasks we talked about. Payment processing, data collection, tax receipts, those essential things.
Start with the basics. Makes sense.
Mhm.
What about for those, more advanced AI things like donor segmentation and personalized communication?
For that stuff, platforms like ChatGPT and Live Impact are great. ChatGPT, we talked about that one, right? It can help create tailored content and messages. And Live Impact, well, it has these really strong donor management features, and it uses AI to help segment audiences and track engagement.
So many possibilities. It's exciting. But we've talked about this, and it's got to be strategic, right?
100%. Nonprofits should start by figuring out, their own unique needs and challenges. What are their biggest fundraising hurdles? What areas would benefit most from AI? Once they know that, then they can start looking at those AI tools and platforms. Choose the ones that fit their goals.
So do your research, understand what you need, and pick the right tools. What else?
Don't be scared to start small. You don't have to dive in head first, and try everything at once. Start with one or two key areas and, gradually build from there as you get more comfortable and start seeing those positive results.
So start small, learn, and integrate AI, step by step. Makes sense. Any other advice?
The biggest thing to remember, AI is a tool, not some kind of, magic solution. It can help you do incredible things, but it's not going to solve every fundraising problem overnight. It takes planning, strategic implementation, and you have to constantly evaluate how things are going.
It's not just about, buying the fanciest AI tools. It's about using them the right way for your organization.
Yeah, and don't forget about training your staff. AI can be such a game changer, but it's only as good as the people who are using it.
Oh, and speaking of important things, don't forget about what we said earlier. Data management is crucial.
Absolutely. Data management is only getting more important in this whole AI era. You have to have systems in place to collect, clean, and manage your data responsibly, ethically. It makes sure your AI tools are working with good, reliable information.
This has been such an insightful conversation. I feel like I've got a much better grasp on, both the potential and the responsibility that comes with AI and fundraising.
Me too. It's a complex topic, but super fascinating. And honestly, we've only just scratched the surface.
Before we wrap up part 2, I have to ask about something that's been on my mind. The future. What trends are you most excited about? What's coming up that could totally change how nonprofits connect with donors?
Oh, there's so much to look forward to. One trend that's caught my eye is hyper-personalization.
Hyper-personalization, what's that?
Think like personalization on steroids. It's about going way beyond, just basic segmentation. It's about making each donor's experience completely unique. Imagine a world where nonprofits can understand each donor perfectly, their motivations, interests, everything. And then they can use that information to craft the perfect communication, recommend the best giving opportunities, even anticipate a donor's needs before they even ask.
That sounds amazing. But how is that even possible? Is this mind-reading AI?
Not quite mind reading. But we are talking about AI systems that are, getting seriously good at analyzing tons and tons of data. We're talking about demographics, giving history, online behavior, social media activity, even stuff like the causes they really care about and what kind of impact they want to see in the world.
So AI can like make this unique profile for each donor and then use it to create a truly personalized experience.
Exactly. And get this, research shows that personalized communication can lead to higher open rates, more click-throughs, and, of course, more donations.
That makes sense. It sounds like it could be a game changer for getting donors more involved, but could it ever feel, creepy or too intrusive?
That's a valid concern, and it's something nonprofits really need to be sensitive to. The key is balance. Creating that personalized experience that feels, relevant and valuable to the donor, while also respecting their privacy, their autonomy.
So you got to be transparent and get their consent.
Absolutely. Nonprofits need to be upfront with donors about how they're using their data, give them a choice, to opt out of certain levels of personalization if they want. It all comes back to trust, right? Making sure the donor feels in control.
Yeah, personalization should be a good thing, not something that makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the potential of hyper-personalization,
Yeah.
but will this, change the role of human fundraisers? Will AI replace them?
A lot of people are asking that, which makes sense, but I think hyper-personalization actually gives human fundraisers the chance to, really focus on what they do best, building those authentic relationships.
Really? How so?
Think about it. If AI is handling all the data and personalization stuff, human fundraisers don't have to do that anymore, right? They can spend their time having those real conversations, understanding donors' motivations, connecting them with the causes they're passionate about.
So instead of like crunching numbers and sending out mass emails all day, they can
Mm-hmm.
focus on those personal connections that are so crucial to giving.
Right. They can be like strategic advisors, offering guidance and support based on a deep understanding of each donor.
So it's a shift from like transactional fundraising to relationship building.
Yeah, exactly. Hyper-personalization helps nonprofits move away from those, generic appeals and create truly individualized donor journeys. And that's where the human element comes in. They're the guides for those journeys, the builders of those lasting relationships.
That's amazing. I'm starting to see how AI can actually make the human side of fundraising even stronger. Are there nonprofits using this hyper-personalization out in the real world?
There are a few, pioneers out there who are leading the way. For example, some of those big healthcare organizations are using AI to personalize patient communication. And, the same principles apply to donor engagement.
So instead of sending out, generic fundraising letters, they're tailoring messages to each donor's interest, maybe their health interests or their philanthropic goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They're creating an experience that's relevant, engaging, that speaks to the donor personally. They might talk about research projects that connect to a donor's own health journey or highlight stories about patients whose lives were changed because of donations.
I can see how that would create like a deeper connection and encourage more giving. Any other examples?
Some universities are using AI to personalize alumni engagement, tailoring their communications based on, alumni's academic interests, their career paths, what they care about giving to. They might suggest giving to a specific program or connect them with students who share their interests.
Wow, so they're creating a stronger bond with their alumni.
Yes. And it's working.
This is so exciting, but I feel like we're just scratching the surface, right? There's so much more to learn.
Oh, for sure. Hyper-personalization is still, in its early stages, but it has the potential to totally change how nonprofits connect with their supporters.
And on that note, we'll be back next week with part 3. We'll be exploring even more real-world examples of nonprofits using AI. Welcome back to, the final part of our AI and nonprofit fundraising deep dive.
It's been amazing to really get into the, possibilities and the challenges of using AI to improve philanthropy.
We've talked about like the basics
Mm.
and even got into those ethical considerations, and future trends. But now I want to see how this is actually, playing out in the real world.
That's what we're going to focus on today. Real nonprofits that have successfully, brought AI into their fundraising strategies.
I'm ready for some inspiration. The article talks about a nonprofit called Charity. Water. What can you tell us about them?
Oh, charity. Water is doing amazing work. Their mission is to bring clean, safe drinking water to communities in, developing nations. They're known for being really innovative with technology, and AI is now a core part of their fundraising.
So how are they actually using AI?
They've got a multi-pronged approach. One big focus for them has been personalizing how they communicate with donors. They use AI to segment their audience. They look at donation history, preferred communication channels, and engagement with past campaigns. And this allows them to send emails and messages that are, really tailored to each donor.
So it's like they're not just sending out those generic fundraising blasts. They're actually taking the time to like craft messages that speak directly to each person.
Right. And it's working. They've seen a big jump in email open rates and click-through rates, and you know what that means? More donations.
That's impressive. Anything else?
They're also using AI to find those donors who are, more likely to become regular givers. They've trained an AI model to, dig into all that donor data and predict which individuals are probably going to become those monthly supporters.
So it's like AI is predicting the future,
Yeah.
helping them identify the people who are ready to make that like long-term commitment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really working. By focusing on those potential recurring donors, they've seen a significant increase in their monthly giving, which provides a much more stable and predictable source of funding,
Yeah.
to keep those projects going.
It's so smart. They're not just trying to get a quick donation. They're using AI to build those relationships that, last.
Absolutely. It's a great example of how nonprofits can use AI to work smarter, not just harder.
Love it. The article also mentions the American Red Cross. They do so much with disaster relief, right? How does AI help with that?
Oh, the Red Cross has always been a leader in using technology, to respond to disasters more effectively. And AI has taken that to a whole new level. One of the most amazing things they're doing is using AI for real-time disaster monitoring.
How does that work?
They've got this AI system that's constantly analyzing data from social media, news reports, even weather patterns. And it uses that data to find potential disaster zones, like as they're happening.
Wow. So they can start responding even before the disaster really hits.
Exactly. It gives them a huge advantage in those, really critical situations. They can get resources mobilized and get those aid workers where they're needed fast.
They're using AI to like predict where disasters are going to happen and get ahead of the game. That's just amazing.
It is. It's literally saving lives. And they're using AI in other ways, too, like with their blood drives. They have an AI system that predicts blood donation patterns. It helps them figure out, where they might have shortages before they become a problem.
So it's AI to the rescue again, making sure there's enough blood for those who need it.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're really committed to, using AI in a way that helps people.
They are. And there are, so many other nonprofits all over the world using AI in amazing ways. It's incredible to see the impact it's having.
These examples are so inspiring. As we wrap up this whole deep dive, what would you say are the, big takeaways for nonprofits who are like thinking about trying out AI?
The most important thing is, be strategic. Don't just use AI because everyone else is. Take the time to, really assess your organization. Figure out what your needs are, what your challenges are, and think about how AI can help you achieve those specific goals.
Do your research, understand your needs, and then choose the right tools.
Yes. And AI is a journey. It's not a one and done kind of thing. It's about learning and experimenting. Don't be afraid to start small. Try different things, see what works best for your organization.
And don't forget those ethical considerations we talked
Yeah,
about.
oh, for sure. Transparency is key. AI is a powerful tool, and we have to use it responsibly.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've learned so much about AI, the technical side, how it's actually being used, even the ethical stuff.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to explore it all.
I hope everyone listening feels, inspired to learn more about AI and maybe even try it out themselves. It's an amazing tool that can help nonprofits make a real difference in the world.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, that's it for this deep dive into AI and nonprofit fundraising. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep using your knowledge to, make the world a better place.